Welcome again to the Old Principal. I am the Old Principal, 我就是老校长, and we've come to another English instructional program. Actually, they're just stories. I get these stories from friends, I get them out of books, I get them off the internet, and sometimes they're even my own stories. So, let's now listen to number 22. Number 22, the echo of life. Well, how are we going to? Well, of course, we know that echo is 回音, but echo of life, 生活的回音呢？人生的回音? Listen to the story, and then I'll be right back.
Number 22. The Echo of Life. Once upon a time, there was a little boy who was very spoiled. If anything happened that he didn't like, he whined and complained. Little hurts and pains were treated like they were major issues. One day, he and his father were walking on the mountains. Suddenly, the boy stumbled and hurt himself. As was his habit, he yelled in pain, "Ouch!" To his surprise, he heard a voice from somewhere in the mountains repeating, "Ouch!" He thought it strange that someone in the mountains should get hurt and respond like he did. He yelled to the mountain, "Who are you?" No answer was given, just the voice asking him, "Who are you?" He was getting upset. He screamed to the mountain, "Show me your face!" The only response he got was, "Show me your face." He looked to his father and asked, "What's going on?" The father smiled and said, "My son, pay attention." The man yelled, "You are brave!" The voice answered, "You are brave." The boy was surprised but did not understand. Then the father explained, "People call this echo. The sound goes into the mountains and then bounces back in a second or two." And then the father started to get philosophical. He said, "Our behavior, that is the good and bad things we do, will come back to us. If you want to feel more love in your world, then act in more loving ways. When you love others, they will love you in return. If you constantly complain and get angry with people, you will soon discover that people will no longer appreciate you. If you want a better relationship with other people, you need to improve your personal skills. Life will give you back everything you have given to it."
Welcome back. Once upon a time, hey, all good stories start like that, don't they? Once upon a time, there was a little boy who was very spoiled. Do you know any children like that? What does it mean to be spoiled? Spoiling a child means that, well, maybe the best way of saying it is 宠爱这个小孩子. Some parents, as they work with their children and help their children in the growing up process, they are so interested in them, they try to do everything for their child. The child doesn't learn anything because the parents do everything, and so the child does not grow. We don't want to have spoiled children. One of the problems in modern China today, there's only one child in a family, most families. So children are spoiled. I've heard people say 小皇帝, a little emperor, because of this. Well, Once upon a time, there was a little boy who was very spoiled. 被宠爱过. Now, we go on and you'll see in this story that anything that happened he didn't like, he whined and he complained. Of course, you wouldn't do that. You didn't do that. 凡是他不喜欢的事情所发生的事情 he whined and he complained. Whine is a 发牢骚. Well, you can say whined. Whining is just a way of speaking. It's like, oh, oh. You know, have you ever heard of people, their voices, 他们的音调，他们的声音的音调就变了 and it becomes higher. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that. That's whining. That's whining. 发牢骚的. Yes, I mean, that's a way of describing what is happening. And of course, 抱怨, he complained. So this was everything that he didn't like. So he didn't like it, he would do that. Going on. Little hurts and pains were treated like they were major issues. 小小的痛苦啊，我也不是痛的，疼痛啊 and pains, hurts and pains. Pains, hurts, 疼痛，两个都一样 ，OK？ 受伤一点点啊，有痛啊 were treated. Okay, that means the way he looked at it. Normally we say 对待, but in this case, he responded to. Maybe he responded like they were major issues. 他的反应 ，OK， 好像是大事 ，OK， 这个小事情就变大事 ，OK。I think that's clear. There are some people in life that are like that, right? Okay. Going on. One day, he and his father were out walking on the mountains. Suddenly the boy stumbled and hurt himself. What are the father and son doing? This, by the way, is very good. Fathers and sons need to spend time together, doing things together. So they were out on the mountains. 已经爬山去了. They were out there in the mountains. Okay. And then the little boy, not careful, stumbled, 跌倒了. And this was suddenly, 突然间, he stumbled and he what? He hurt himself. Now, when you were little, did you cry? Of course. But eventually, when you got hurt, you didn't cry. The question I have is, when did that happen? What happened to help you not act like a baby? 不像这个儿童哭啊一样. So we all grow up somewhat slowly, some people a little bit faster. Now, he went out there, he stumbled, he hurt himself, going on. As was his habit, 按照他的习惯, 按照他的惯例, he yelled in pain, ouch! He yelled in pain. Okay, 大喊叫，痛苦的这个叫 Ouch. Ouch, what does that mean? Well, ouch means 痛. Sometimes mothers will say, oh, did you get an owie? I don't think that there's such an English word, but many parents use it, and it comes from ouch. Okay, so ouch is just an exclamation. Notice here, there's an exclamation mark right here. So that means it's an exclamation. You're saying this. Ouch! 痛, okay, 痛. To his surprise, 使他蛮惊讶的, okay, he heard a voice from somewhere in the mountains repeating, ouch. He heard a voice from 不晓得什么地方啊来的一个声音啊 repeating, okay, 这个回复他所刚才讲的 ouch. So he said, ouch. And then a little bit later, he heard the sound coming back from the mountains, ouch. Going on. Wow. He thought it was very strange that somebody in the mountains should get hurt and respond just like he did. He said, wow, somebody hurt themselves just when I hurt myself, and they responded the same as I did. 他的反应跟我的反应完全一样. So he thought it was very strange, 很奇怪. Going on, he yelled to the mountain. He yelled, 向山喊叫说 Who are you? 你到底是谁? No answer was given. 没有任何一个回答. Just a voice asking him. So the mountains now are asking him, Who are you? Oh, no answer? Just the same question. Only whoever's up in the mountains is asking him, Who are you? Going on. He was getting upset. When you get upset, you start 有一点生气, 不高兴, angry, okay. He screamed to the mountain. 他对着山呢尖叫说 Show your face. But the only response he got was, Show your face. Okay, scream, 尖叫. Okay, show your face. This is interesting because, okay, 给我看一看你的脸啊. But sometimes when it says show your face, it gives you 你要出现. 来吧，出现，我要看到你. But the 唯一的反应, the response was show your face. Going on. He looked at his father and he asked, What's going on? His father smiled and said, Son, pay attention. He looked to his father and asked this question, 怎么回事啊? What's going on? 怎么回事啊? The father just smiled and said, Son, pay attention. 儿子, 儿子, 听好. 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 你要注意，你要注意。Going on. The man yelled. Now it's the man. This is the man. The man is yelling. The father is yelling. 他喊叫 You are brave. 你是勇敢的 And a voice answered, You are brave. Ooh. Going on. The boy was surprised, but he did not understand. 他蛮惊讶的，还是不明白。Then his father explained. 然后他的爸爸解释。People call this an echo. This is an echo. This is echo. 回音，这是一个回音啊 an echo. Going on. The sound goes into the mountains and then bounces back in a second or two. What happens? The sound travels up into the mountains, and then 过了1秒、2秒, the sound then comes back. It bounces, 跳回来. Okay, it comes back. To bounce is 跳. So the sound goes out, it bounces off of something, and then it bounces back in a second or two. Going on. Then the father started to get philosophical. You know, fathers are like that because he has to teach his children to grow up. In this case, the little boy not to cry at everything. Okay, so he becomes philosophical. Philosophy, of course, is 哲学. So now he is going to use, well, we say philosophical, 他要用这个时间教导他 to teach him. Okay, and here is what he said. Our behavior, 我们的行为, that is the good and bad things that we do, basically everything that we do, whether it's good or bad, will come back to us. Our behavior, the good things we do and the bad things we do will bounce back to us. If to use the term here, it will come back to us. Well, how does this work? 怎么回事? Going on. This is the father. He's speaking to his son. If you want to feel more love in your world, then act in more loving ways. 如果在你的世界，你要感受到，更加的爱， then you must act in more loving ways. 你要用各种各样的方法爱上别人。In other words, you need to become a 可爱的一个人。Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. If you want to feel more love in your world, then act in more loving ways. When you love others, they will love you in return. Does that make sense? 当你爱别人 they will love you in return. Return 就是回报你的爱。The love will come back to you. They will love you in return. Going on. If you constantly complain and get angry with people, you will soon discover that people will no longer appreciate you. If you constantly complain, 你经常抱怨的, well, you know, I'm sure you've met people that are always complaining. Complaining about their pain, complaining about their life, complaining about their work. I have a few friends that every time I get with them, they're always complaining. So why are they my friends? Well, I want to be friendly with them. Okay? If you constantly 经常抱怨 and get angry with people, 向人家这个发脾气 you will discover, 你会发现 that people will no longer appreciate you. They will no longer appreciate you. 他们不会再喜欢你. To appreciate something is to 喜欢, to like, to appreciate. Sometimes we even say to love you. So, if you want people to like you, don't get angry or complain all the time. We don't like to be around negative people. So 负面的，有些人是非常负面的，很消极的。Hey, we don't like that. I don't spend my time with those kinds of people. Because, usually. Because why should, my life is hard enough as it is. Why should I want to spend my time listening to somebody's anger and complaints? Okay, going on. If you want a better relationship with other people, you need to improve your personal skills. Now, I want to spend just a moment on this. If you want to improve a better relationship with people, 你要有一个更好的人际关系, a better relationship with people, 跟别人有更好的人际关系, the relationship between you and other people. If you want this kind of better relationship, you need to improve your personal skills. Okay, what is personal skills? Okay, 个人的技巧. Now, we all have personal skills. Some people are more skillful, that is, 技术上比较会做事, 做人. Okay, so they know how to respond and to react to people. Their relationships are better. Some people don't know how to respond and to relate to those around them. And so that's the reason why I would say if we want a better relationship with other people, we need to improve our personal skills. 我们的个人的技术. Okay, going on. Life will give you back everything you have given to it. 人生 or 生活. Now, this is one place. No, in Chinese, we have 生活 and 人生. And both of them translated life. So, and this is one of the few places, trust me, very few. And this is one of the few places that you could use both translations. Okay, so 生活 will give you back everything that you give to it. Okay, 你生活上所给予的生活，就是说这个人们呢，在你旁边的人们呢，会回报你。So you give it love, okay? You will get love in return. If you give it sympathy, 同情, people will sympathize with you. 也会同情你. If you love people, they will love you in return. Very, very simple. It will be given back to you. 回报你. And that goes for 不但只是生活上，人生上. If you consider your whole life, it's the same. Life will give back to you everything that you have given to it. Well, we've run out of time. We do have an email address, and our email address is theoldprinciple 老校长 @gmail.com. And our website is www.theoldprinciple.org. We've had a great session today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that you'll bring a friend and join us next time for another interesting lesson. Until then, bye-bye.